As a kid, I remember my parents would do things that part of me knew were completely unfair, and it was very painful for me. And I remember just being terrified of emotions. I hated feeling fear and shame and grief and all those sort of things. I was just, yeah, I was just scared of being scared. I didn't like all these feelings in the body. So I remember just trying to fix things by using my mind. I remember trying to control situations simply by using my mind, as though my thoughts were so powerful that they could influence the external world. And I remember just asking myself why, and analyzing the situation and trying to understand things on deeper and deeper levels. And just trying to think my way out of situations that were caused by my emotions, in terms of I would feel very uncomfortable, but then I would just not want to feel it and instead intellectualize everything, analyze who I am, what I'm doing, where this comes from, what's wrong, what's right, where things, how things should go, rehearse things in my mind over and over, just obsessed with thoughts. And as I grew older, this if anything remained the same or got worse. It came out a lot in relationships. Of course, relationships are our mirrors. It caused a lot of problems for many relationships. It's taken me nearly 40 years to realize a lot of this, where a lot of my, or you could even say most of my intellectual skills, you could say, come from repressed emotions. It comes from grief and fear and shame and these uncomfortable sensations in the body that I just don't want to feel. So instead, I went into my head and I tried to figure everything out. In some way, you could say that I am self-aware, but in another way, you could say that I'm completely self-unaware. I think most of what we call self-awareness is just thoughts. We analyze ourselves in an intellectual way and understand why we are the way we are. We understand why things come up in the way that they do, and the causes of the situations and your personality type and all this stuff. I understand all this. So you could say that this is a kind of self-awareness. And I think a lot of people possess this skill, especially intellectual people with some level of emotional intelligence, I guess you could say. But really, there's zero self-awareness in this. True self-awareness comes from clearing the emotions so you know who you are. So you become peaceful and comfortable in a body. You know what your true thoughts and feelings are about situations. Until this stuff from the body is cleared, it's impossible. You know nothing. You just know your defense mechanisms and you know structures, but there's no truth to any of it. There's no fundamental basis. You're just lost. And this has been very much my experience for nearly 40 years now, until I started focusing more on emotions and being in the body. It's a trick. It's like, it's everywhere. I mean, entire cultures are built around this thing. Because look at universities, for example. They're celebrated. People who are successful at this thing, who work there and successfully get through it. And in jobs and stuff, the power of our mind is a thing that's celebrated. And a lot of it is caused by these emotions. Look at some of the smartest people in the world, Elon Musk. He says that it's a nightmare being him. I've seen interviews where he said that. And what causes this high level of intellectuality, if that's even a word, is the emotions driving it. The amount that the force by which you avoid feeling these emotions. They sit there and they drive everything. They drive you to go into this intellectual world and to try to understand everything. But ultimately, I believe what we're searching for is love. It sounds a bit trite, I guess, but this is what we're largely doing, is that we have these emotions and we have all this pain inside us, and we want the pain, we don't like it, so we try to find an answer. And one answer, you could say, is to intellectualize everything, is to go into your brain and just keep churning away at reality, because eventually you'll figure reality out and you'll be peaceful. You could say this about every defense mechanism against your inner emotions: drug taking, relationships, money, sex, power, positions, whatever. Spirituality to some great extent. You could say it's all really trying to do the same thing, which is we're trying to find love, we're trying to find peace, we're trying to actually resolve these emotions. But they're so painful and it's so confusing, and we have no skill in order to do it. So we just keep chewing away at reality as though we'll figure it out and we'll be at peace finally. But we never do, and we destroy everything in the process. It seems like you're getting somewhere, and this is one of the trickiest parts of it that I've dealt with for nearly 40 years now, which is it does seem like you get places with this, that you're writing down on paper who you are and where you come from, and you understand your personality type and why you do things. You understand the triggers and the emotions and things, why they've come, and the experiences that you had that caused them, and why this happens, and this and that and that. It seems like you're getting somewhere, but you're simply not. You're just looking in the wrong place. It's that simple. There's really only one answer to this problem, and if you don't consider it a problem, it's fine. If you don't think that it's testing. If you don't consider it a problem, it's fine. If you want to use this thing as a way to move about the world and create things and whatever, then fine. Like, I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. Just to people who've had enough of being this way, of the exhaustion and the tension and the relationship problems and the sense of just being not being there with yourself, not being you. If you're sick of it, there's only one way out, and that's to go inwards. And this is like any endeavor. If you want to make something work, it takes time every day, and it takes a long time. Every single day, we work at it for years and years, and eventually we're successful. We do this the same method with trying to dig out and release and experience these emotions that are holding us back and making us not feel comfortable inside a body that causes us to go into our mind. The goal is to be comfortable in your body, so you rest there. You're peaceful there. Because if you're not, if you don't love yourself, then you will go into the world trying to get people to love you. It's the same with if you don't accept yourself, you will look towards the world to accept you, and you won't be with yourself. That is the goal. We need to remove these emotions that are in the way of us being inside ourselves. So we know we're peaceful in there, we're comfortable, we're loving, and then we're able to express ourselves who we are. We will know what we think, we will know what we want, we will know how we feel, and these emotions will make sense to us. We will know the people that are good for us and not good for us, and all that sort of stuff. So we need to be with this shame, grief, and fear that's in the body. Generally, it's in the chest and the stomach. If there's anger, good. What's under the anger? Anger is always protecting you from being seen, from protecting you from experiencing this shame, grief, and fear. If you get angry, have a look at what happened before the anger and see if there's another emotion that came up first. The thing with these emotions that we've stuffed them down for so long that it's a very difficult process to get through to try to experience them and release them again, feeling through them. It takes a long time. It means spending 10 minutes, half an hour a day, as much as you can every day, being inside your body, getting familiar with it again. There's some weird tension in the chest, then just be with it. If you go into the head and start to analyze it, stop. Go back to the sensation. Just be with it. No matter how uncomfortable it is, you will have to face your fear of death. You'll have to face a lot of sensations in the body that scare you. A lot of grief, there'll be a lot of crying, there'll be a lot of shame. You will feel like you're going to die. You will feel worse than you've ever felt. But then after these sessions, when you've given it enough time and you might manage to release some of this, there's some peace there. Your life gets a little bit better, sometimes worse because you become more aware of these things, but then eventually gets better. Go into the stomach and feel what's in there. Is there a weird emptiness that doesn't feel comfortable? Be with that. Try to play with these sensations. Try to find sentences or memories or words that trigger them. Don't intellectualize it. We're not analyzing things. We're not trying to understand them. We're just trying to do what's right by the sensation, which is find the memories that are in it, find the things that trigger it, just so we can increase its energy for a little while. And so it gives us more of a chance to be with it. Do this every day. It takes years. I've been doing this for a little while and I've only just touched the surface. It is painful and it's one of the most awful things you can imagine. But this is why our entire lives and entire cultures in some ways are built around avoiding these things. There is only one option and you have to go through it. Slowly we come back into our bodies and not be so uncomfortable there. Thanks, guys.